Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Welcome back into the cheap seats. I'm your host, RB Ryan Banowitz, and baseball fans, I have a treat for you. It is game week here for Ragin Cajun baseball, and I have the man that actually led the 2014 team in wins on the pitching staff. Carson Baranik, a.k.a. Papa Bear, joins the program. And Carson, first off, congratulations, because I know you are actually on your way to being a real-life Papa Bear. Got a baby on the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an amazing and terrifying thing all at once.
I'm sure you'll do a good job, man. Trust me, if my brother can keep a baby alive, I'm sure you can too. But Carson Baranik is our guest. And Carson, going back to that season, I mean, you guys won 50-plus games. You, I mentioned, had over 10 wins in a college season, which is pretty incredible. Is that still to this day one of the more incredible years of your entire life?
No, one thing that was crazy, I think about that we always forget is that in the grand scheme of things, we only lost 10 games in a whole season. Looking back on it now, that's incredibly hard to do, and I think it showed a lot of resilience in the team that year, and that's something I think I'll always take with us for sure.
How close are you with some of the guys that were on that team still to this day? I mean, Ott, Booty, the rest of the guys on that team, Jace, Blake, Caleb, Strentz. Do you guys still try to stay in contact, or is it just really like you guys only get to see each other whenever somebody gets married?
Yeah, no, you have a mixture of both. Like you got a lot of guys that are, they spend a lot of time with the organization. So, it's a rarity that the Reds ever let Blake leave the, Arizona or wherever he's at. But the guys that live in town for sure, it's always a good time around October, November. Everybody gets in. We always try to get something to eat, catch up a little bit. A lot of people's lives are crazy, but, we definitely make the time when everybody gets around.
Carson Baranik is our guest, one of the starting pitchers from that special year back in 2014. And Carson, I mean, you've been part of a lot of different teams. What made that team so special? Because, I mean, talent is one piece of it. Coaching is clearly another with Tony Robichaux. But I feel like that team just had some crazy chemistry on it, and there was just something about them. As someone that played on that team, what made that squad special?
I think it was everything. It's going to be a really talented team, but you don't ever know going into a season how many wins or how good you're actually going to be. And I think it was, as special as that, we got the season going, and then the fans really got into it, especially when we started getting the lofty rankings. And, just going from that, the resilience, again, like I talk about, we're a bunch of older guys. We understood what we had to do day in and day out. But, having that support with kind of everything snowballing as the season went on, I think that kind of makes it.
Who are the ones that really kind of helped drive the bus? We know Jace was one of the most fierce competitors in the history of the game of baseball here. He never liked to lose. Who were the guys that really kind of fueled the fire with that squad?
No, it's guys that, probably didn't get all, like, the total recognition that they deserve. People like Ryan Wilson. Variety like Ryan Wilson. That in the middle of the season was an outfielder and a relief pitcher. With injuries, had to come in and be a full-time starting for, midway through the season for a lot of the season. And was, the guy that kind of, was the backbone of the team, yet probably didn't get the most notoriety that he probably should have. But there was a lot of guys like that. You got Nick Thurman backing up Mike. There's a lot of key pieces that kept that season going.
Now that you are done with the game of baseball, which we're going to talk about your journey post-Cajun life in just a little bit, but now that you're into the business world, I mentioned you got a baby on the way and everything like that. How much do you value the lessons that Tony taught you when you were one of his players?
Tony really instilled in us the small things, the details in life, and the things that we did on the baseball field. There were details and how that would translate. I remember we always talked about ourselves that year being grinders. That was like our team motto, and that was just bringing it every day. I think, now that I talk to all the guys, that's the one thing we try to do every day in our day-to-day life now is kind of bring that same intensity that made us successful in a day-to-day at a baseball field.
And I know that was probably one of the reasons you decided to come play for the team. But looking back on it now, how proud of yourself are you for making the decision to come play here for Coach Robe?
No, coming to Coach Robe and joining the team I did, but not only that, but coming to the city and the environment and the school and stuff, that was definitely the best decision I ever made at that point in my career. Because not only on the baseball side, but just on the personal side of life, allowed me to be able to really find Lafayette as a home and really settle down here.
And yeah, you are now back working in the Acadiana area. What brought you back here?
Yeah, I got to finish up school, and might as well finish up with at the place I'd stopped at. So I got one more semester here at UL, but then I'm currently employed at the Bradley Beck State Farm Agency over here off Ambassador Caffrey. So if you need insurance help or needs, definitely give me a shout.
There we go. Carson Baranik is our guest, former Ragin Cajun pitcher. And Carson, I want to talk a little bit about your adventure after your Cajun career ended, because I know you ended up getting drafted. You went off and tried to pursue the minor league baseball thing, but I don't know if most folks in just the regular sports world, the fans, realize how difficult of a journey that is. I mean, the pay is not great. Sometimes just the lifestyle is kind of crazy. You got to go all the way across the country. How was that entire experience for you?
I mean, it was definitely eye-opening. I mean, nobody can ever really prepare you for that experience until you go through it yourself. And it's definitely the business side of it that you never really get exposed to until you get to that point. From the experience standpoint, I mean, the experience was, first class. I mean, being able to go to Arizona and play and be able to experience that whole world. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's not easy. I would not, advise it as a career choice by any means. Obviously, you see a lot of people at this point striving to get higher pay for the minor leagues. That's a real thing. It's hard to make a living doing that. So there's a lot of stuff with that I think, and once you get exposed to it, you just understand a lot more.
And I want to go into that a little bit more, because you're right. I feel like it doesn't get enough exposure that, look, these minor league ball players are forced into a somewhat uncomfortable situation financially. And was there a moment where you just kind of sat down and you were like, I don't know, this is really, really tough. I don't know if this is what I want to do.
Well, thankfully, I got released before I ever got to that point, so I didn't have to ever make that decision. But no, I mean that's a tough one because you're right. I mean, you're having to live a life and possibly support a family back home, but then also chasing this dream. I guess going through it makes you appreciate the experience you had in college a lot more, because it was a lot more organic and a little bit more baseball. But the experience is what the experience is for sure.
And people always talk about, oh, it's just a business, and so many other of the sports. Is that really just the case whenever it comes to minor league baseball? They're there to groom talent, to see guys that can move up the ranks. And did you feel that atmosphere that it's just a business type deal?
I wouldn't say it's as much of it's just a business. People don't realize how worldly of a game baseball really is. And so the whole idea of, you got a lot of people coming from a lot of different countries, trying to make it here in the minor leagues. It's a lot different. You don't have the outside countries coming in here trying to play a lot of other sports really other than basketball. Football really doesn't have the problem. So I think baseball, that whole idea of, you're bringing a lot of good ball players from, the Dominican and Puerto Rico and places like that. It makes it a lot more challenging than just, you're not just competing against guys in the U.S. anymore like you are a lot of times in college.
It's a very good point. And just real quick, also on baseball, for you, I know that you're done playing for now, but have you thought about maybe into the future getting into coaching or anything like that?
I have thought about coaching. I have. My thing was I like to get away from the game. I like to, especially right now, I really do have an appreciation for it. I can watch it on TV. A lot of times when you're playing it, you were doing it so much that you not that you forgot the appreciation for it, but it's good to be able to step away and be able to just be a fan again and just appreciate it. But I'm never going to count out coaching in the future. But as of right now, I enjoy just being a fan and going up to the Teague, on the weekends.
There you go. You get to go in the stands and yell stuff at Suge.
Yeah, exactly. Yell at the first base coach.
All right, Carson Baranik is our guest, right now. And Carson, looking back on that season that you spent, I mean, creating something really, really special. I think the fans can now appreciate the magnitude of what you guys did. Is there a specific moment or maybe one or two that always come back into your mind whenever you think back on that year?
It's got to be. I mean, if I think of the one thing, it's got to be coming back and winning the regional after being down. You finish the season being number one, and then you have like a kind of not a letdown, but you lose that first game of the regional. I know everybody in the stands were panicking, and we were a little bit more calm than probably what we should have been, but definitely that resilience right there kind of is one of the lasting memories I have for sure.
And I want to get your perspective on Coach Robe and his approach to pitchers, because we all have heard his Robeisms, the lessons he teaches about life and manhood and everything like that, but he is really one of the most intelligent baseball guys that I've ever interacted with in my entire life. What was it like being a pitcher in his system and getting to learn from him?
It's a lot of his lessons, he teaches through baseball, but a lot of them are really practical things you would never even, really trying to simplifying the things that you're doing. So, I mean, what he does is he takes a really complex thing like pitching, and he really tries to simplify it across the board. And what it does is it helps you as a pitcher be able to just slow it down for yourself. He's obviously brilliant in the game aspect of attacking hitters, but really just understanding how to control yourself, because that's all pitching really is controlling yourself, and that's what he really tries to define as it. And I think that's why you see people that spend time with him, that's where they get, where they improve a lot. It's just their own self-control.
Well put there. And I want to get your perspective. I know that you're not technically part of the team anymore, but you said you're a fan. How much attention have you been able to pay to what the team's been doing since you left? I mean, the last year with them kind of exceeding expectations, making it all the way to a super regional. How much have you been able to pay attention to the teams?
Oh, I've been watching them. I mean, I trust me. If even if I'm not at the games, I know exactly what's going on. Still have a lot of friends that are going up there if I'm not up there. So, I mean, I pay a lot of attention to it. I think everyone around here is really excited for the year this year. I know the stadium's getting built and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of definitely just around the people I talk to around Lafayette that are baseball fans are really excited for what's going to come up. And
getting your perspective from somebody that really understands the craft, you've been in the system too. How impressed are you by this pitching staff? I mean, Gunnar Leger coming in as a freshman. Nick Lee did it last year, too. You got Wyatt Marks, Evan Guillory. I mean, Demo is an All-American. How blown away are you by what this pitching staff's been able to do, even when they were youngsters?
Well, it's got to be nice as a hitter on there. You score one run or two runs, and you feel like you almost have the game in hand with the kind of arms they have. They're all a bunch of young guys that you were able to see really grow and through the innings they threw. And I think the sky's the limit. I think, and they understand the idea of how long a season is. The older aspect of it is just staying healthy throughout the season and understanding it's a day at a time. And I think they've grown to probably mature and understand that really well.
As a fan, do you have any expectations for the team this season?
No, I think you can't really put expectations. The expectations are going to be there just because you want to play well. As a fan, it's hard. I would love to see them host a regional and a super regional, but I know, like in the inside, they're taking it one day at a time. The rankings are great, but they still have to play the ball games, and I know they know that. So,
being a part of this program, mentioned the success you guys had, the 50-plus wins. How satisfying is it to see Russo Park getting built, for Tony Robichaux to have that stadium that I think is what this team has deserved for a long time? As one of the top programs in the country, you guys are going to now have one of the top facilities as well. It's been a long time coming. What is it like to know that you were basically one of the pieces that helped build the bricks for that foundation that we're now seeing being built right in front of our eyes?
I know. I wish I could play in it every time I drive by it right now. But I think it's definitely a testament to the system that Robes had there for so long. Because they don't build a stadium like that unless you have a really good team to play in it and great fans to fill it. So I think it's a testament to a lot of the long hard years. of maybe not having the best facilities, but a lot of people putting in a lot of work to get to this point. I think it's special because now we can all enjoy it, going out there and seeing the amazing stadium that they have built. I know a lot of people put a lot of sweat and tears into that.
And you mentioned that your time in the minor league really made you appreciate your college experience more. And as someone that's been down on field level during a game at the Teague, it's something that even if I close my eyes, I can kind of simulate it in my mind. Is that something that's never going to leave you? Like whenever you close your eyes, can you still kind of bring back that feeling that it's like to be on the mound with all those fans going crazy?
Yeah, no, I can still remember the first. I mean, one of my most vivid memories are the first pitch of the Super Regionals, and I can remember how intense it was, and I can remember the chills going down my back after the first few pitches. That kind of stuff will stick with me forever. I mean, especially Suge hitting the home runs in the regionals. I still get chills thinking of that as well. So I mean, there's some memories that bring them back for sure.
Suge threw that bat like 900 feet in the air. Just saying. All right, Carson Baranik has been our guest. Papa Bear, thanks for coming on to the show, man. Might have to have you back again in the future.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. I look forward to the season for sure.
Oh, what a good dude. If he doesn't go into coaching, he might have a future doing analysis. Very well-spoken, intelligent dude. We might have to give him some work here at ESPN 1420.